Happy Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about, from superstars passing away to Alabama recruiting news. Welcome to Waaaay Offsides After Dark.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hope everybody's having a great week. It's Wednesday night, which means we like to get a little loose, talk some Alabama football. It's me and Wild Bill Curley here tonight. We'll be with you for the time being. I'm sure Chris and Jeff will pop in here at some point in time. You know the drill. It's After Dark. Anything goes. Welcome to the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter. Bill, how's your week going?
Well, first off, I'd like to say, I grew up in a middle-class home and had some middle-class friends, and it's people kept their lawns real nice where I grew up. Now, the week's been pretty good. And where I grew up, we were strapped. We didn't know what middle class was. We just knew we didn't have much.
Man.
It was. I tell you what, my dad had two things he was committed to. We would not be cold, and we would not be hungry.
There you go.
And he grew up really poor, and he said, and he's to this day, he's 78 years old. He said, last damn thing I'm going to be is cold. Turn that heater on, lady.
Speaking of cold, I know down here in Florida it's gotten a little chilly. I'm sure up in your neck of the woods.
That's why I got the hoodie on, bro.
It's a little nipply. Yeah, I busted out the sweatshirt today.
Yeah, and guess who's going to see? Deer season started yesterday morning at daylight.
Yeah.
Yours truly had to go to work, but guess what he's doing Saturday morning at daylight?
Probably sitting in a tree stand shooting at nothing.
I'm gonna pull a string with an arrow and hopefully I'm hopefully gonna stick a deer.
We'll see what happens.
If a deer doesn't show up by noon, I'm gonna shoot anything that shows up because I'm gonna be in front of a television at 2:30 Central.
Hashtag go down.
Hashtag save the button bucks.
Oh, we'll tell that story in a second. But before we tell that story, you're going to want to hear that story. It's a hilarious story.
And Lance, yes, we can put out corn. And Friday night, I'm putting out a pile of corn 31 steps from my stand.
Hopefully there's no game wardens in here.
It's legal.
Before we do that, guys, we finally got an end date to get all this crap figured out with YouTube. It looks like November 14th we'll be back full swing with memberships and all that fun stuff. So we boomed in growth last time. We expect that again, but we love each and every one of you, and we appreciate all the support you give us. So we're asking you once again to please like, subscribe, retweet, comment, share us in Facebook groups, share us all over the place. Tell people about us. Get them in here. Interact with us in the comment section. That's something that we love to do with you guys. It makes it a lot of fun. We got our regulars, and then we've got new folks every show, it seems like. Lance said it's cold in Dallas. Eric, I would imagine it is cold in Massachusetts. But anyway, I'm going to tell a deer story before we get to the exciting news. Bill and I went on a hunting trip with some buddies on some land, and we had an adventurous night. I got up next morning, go out to the stand and get up in the tree. I'm about, I don't know, maybe 150 yards away from a feeder. And
sitting there about 80 minutes away from being awake.
Oh, yeah. I'm sitting up there in the stand, and I've got pretty bad eyesight nowadays. And I look down, and I see this deer leave the clearing and come up to the feeder. And, I'm pretty good ways up there in the tree. And or not in a tree, but in a shoot house. And I'm just kind of looking down. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And so, I take my shot, and I laid the cold down on it. I get a text immediately from my buddy across in another field, and he's like, I hope you missed. I sent out a mass text to everybody. I said, "Doe down. I got one. Come on. Somebody come get me." So come pick me up. We all hop in this truck, and we're tearing ass through these fields and stuff to get to this deer. And we get there, and it was a little button buck. And
it probably 70 pounds before you shot it, and after that slug went through it, it weighed about 48. The exit wound on that thing was, I mean, that was a sniper quality exit wound.
Lance, I was actually talking about the One Direction guy. Lance said who died, but I saw a clip from Smook, somebody involved in their network, that I'm not really sure. I don't really watch Smook that much. And so somebody that they're very familiar with, I believe him and Kyle both know, been involved with their projects, passed away. Obviously, man, that's sad. Hope he knew the Lord. That's all I can say. But Lance said you go to jail for that in Texas. Hey, man, my depth perception was really bad that day. I don't want to say why, but anyway, a bait license is $15 a year in Alabama. That's right. So anyway, a lot of stuff going on this week. It is Tennessee and Texas hate week. Okay.
Yes,
but first of all, let's talk a little bit about the South Carolina game while it's just me and Bill. Alabama comes off this Vanderbilt loss, and I want to say something about that first because obviously,
you were hiding from a storm last time.
Yeah. Look, Alabama should never lose to Vanderbilt. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But I will say that this is not your grandpappy's Vandy team. This is not Vanderbilt from 10 or 15 years ago.
No. And
the landscape of college football has changed and evolved very rapidly. In fact, to where everybody's caught up with guys like Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, these teams that are usually very good. And so you're not going to see these massive blowouts like you're used to. You're not going to see 53-0, especially in SEC play. Now, I posted that on Twitter, and somebody's like, well, Texas is doing it. But if you go and look at what Texas has done, yes, they beat Michigan, but that Michigan team is a shell of its former self. Mm-hmm. And they beat an Oklahoma team that was starting a true freshman quarterback and had its top 5 wide receivers out of the game.
Time out on that. Oklahoma, for the past, decade, has had no defense.
Yeah.
Now they finally got defense. They don't have offense.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of wild. Brent Venables, man.
Venables is changing it, and it's good. But yeah, they still got to work out their kinks. Continue.
So here's the thing, Bill. I'm gonna bring myself up here because I'm about to go on a little tangent. Okay,
bro.
Listen, I get it. As Alabama fans, we're all damn spoiled for the past 17 years. You're used to going on the field and beating people senseless, dragging them from end zone to end zone for 4 quarters. But it's very easy, and it's been very easy, and I've noticed in the past 2 weeks, for Alabama fans to remember those times where Alabama did go out there and won a game, very close game against an inferior opponent. It happened more often than you actually think it did, especially the last 2 seasons with Nick Saban as your head coach. Okay? Again, you can't excuse losing to Vanderbilt. You shouldn't lose to Vanderbilt. But this is not the Vanderbilt from a decade and a half ago. This is a Vanderbilt that has access talent through the transfer portal. They literally brought in a quarterback who beat an SEC team at their place last year. Okay? And you're talking about a very, very young team that just came off probably the biggest win of Kalen DeBoer's life. A very youthful team who doesn't know how to handle that momentum, who didn't know how to handle that number 1 being in front of their name. That's why most Alabama fans, as soon as they gave them the number 1, they were like, nope, we don't want it. Right? They don't know how to handle that. You bounce off of that loss, and just like the media tells everybody, oh, watch out for Alabama. If they lose, you got to play them next time. That's not always the case. Alabama didn't always bounce back from a loss and just skull drag teams. It happened a lot, but it wasn't every single time. Not to mention, you're playing a really good South Carolina team and an 11 a.m. kickoff slot.
Oh.
Right? And all these kids have heard, again, very young team, all they've heard all week is how bad they are because they lost to Vanderbilt. Okay? Does Alabama play to the level of competition? Probably. Probably because, I mean, it's a lot of kids, right? I would urge you all, first of all, don't give up on Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer has beat Dan Lanning, Steve Sarkisian, Lincoln Riley, and Kirby Smart. And you guys there's people calling for the guy's head and bitching and moaning because he's wearing a T-shirt on the sideline. I got somebody in here who I know, we'll bring him on in a second, who I know has some deep thoughts about this. Chris, welcome to Waaaay Offsides After Dark. We missed you.
Look, man,
you jumping right in, baby. Tell them what's up. I'm going to change my thing.
What am I missing?
So I just kind of went on a little bit of a rant about how the expectations surrounding Alabama are absolutely off the wall right now, and how people don't understand how much the game has changed. Mm-hmm. And the days of blasting teams, 62-0 or 62-14 are over with.
It's over with. It's
You're
done.
not.
Yeah.
John Riles posed a question to me a couple of days ago, and he said, how do you think you're ever going to see back-to-back national championships again? It's like, I don't think so. Do you realize how hard that is to do now?
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. And so I'm talking about that and just the realistic expectations. Of course, nobody wants to lose to Vanderbilt, but it's not Vanderbilt from a decade and a half ago. And then the problem with the South Carolina game is you've got a young team that bounces off of that loss and plays in an 11 a.m. slot at home against and everybody will say, oh, it's South Carolina. That's a good South Carolina team. Jeff said it week 1 watching South Carolina. This Sellers kid is going to give us problems.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did. Right. Absolutely did. And it's the best pass rush in the SEC.
I mean,
that's the country.
But that's how the SEC writers wanted it to go.
Right. Right.
the script.
Just like the
we're doing that one.
I mean, just like the LSU Ole Miss game.
Let's go to some comments. We got folks.
Why not just go for 2 and win it? But instead, the writers said, "Hey, kick the extra point going to overtime."
What did he say? Scared money don't make money.
That's it. That's right.
He ties the game. Hey, they probably would have got that 2-point conversion too. The way they were playing.
Well, I got a prediction for the LSU Arkansas game this week. So,
well, a lot of people. Josh Pate's got one too.
I got one that says Arkansas by double digits.
Well, he's picking Arkansas too. But Cotton, you made a point. I think it was Sunday. You said we're still everybody's Super Bowl, and because of that, we get everybody's best effort. Now, we talked about this while you were dodging the hurricane. and you just brought it up. This ain't Granddaddy's Vanderbilt. And, oh, by the way, I was at the game in 1984 when Vanderbilt beat Alabama and Bryant-Denny, and because I'm that old. And so Vanderbilt gets NIL transfers and coaches out of the portal and all that stuff. Then we get South Carolina that the preseason, Chris, you just said, the preseason people were saying, oh, South Carolina's going to go 4-8, Vandy's going to go 2-10, blah, blah, blah. Oh, heck no. We said week one, Jeff pointed it out. So this Vandy team's going to be, this South Carolina team's going to be a mess.
Yep.
And they come to Tuscaloosa at 11 a.m. and they're playing their Super Bowl. And our guys were confused because, number one, Vandy ran that weird triple option stuff. South Carolina then put in a bunch of it. And they had better athletes probably than we expected. And then 11 a.m. But one thing I noticed, and I told you all this heading into the Vandy game, I said, I do not like what I'm hearing at the press conferences. Every question on the Monday after the Georgia game was, how does it feel to beat Georgia? How does it feel to beat Georgia and break their regular season streak? Georgia this, Georgia that. Nothing about Vandy. The coaches tried to bring up Vandy, and the questions kept going back to Georgia. The Wednesday night coaches show before the Vandy game. Hey, thanks for beating Georgia and showing we're a great team. Nothing about it was, oh, by the way, we got Vandy coming. Yay. You know, I know you're going to kill them, coach. Take care of business. Roll Tide. You beat Georgia. But we were totally overlooking an SEC caliber team and on the road and a bottom. And Nick Saban said that's an easy place to play because of the crowd differential. I've been in that stadium. It is a suck stadium. It is a suck environment. It's like a frying pan, a aluminum foil frying pan at the surface of the sun. And it is a bad place to play, even if they've only got 12 students in the stand. And it was a recipe for disaster. Now, Nick did say this a long, long time ago. There's such a thing as a good loss. And you never let a loss become two losses. And we got through the South Carolina game. South Carolina threw everything they could throw at us. We won it. There's some what ifs and shoulda, couldas, and it would have been a bigger score. I don't know how you call wiping a guy's face mask roughing the passer. I don't get that.
I don't know, but
I think we're doing good. And this is a good defense. This is a good defense. It's a nickel defense. Everybody in the league plays nickel defense, and this is a good coaching job.
Yeah, they don't understand numbers, but you say nickel or dime and they get it.
Yeah.
And it's like I told you guys, everybody's jumping on the coaching staff, and they want everybody's head. They want the board to do something. They want Womack gone. But I watched 6 hours of film the other night.
6 whole hours.
6 whole hours. And guess what? They run the same offense. They run the same defense. You know what the difference was?
What?
The players hustled. The players wasn't getting paid money. They wasn't superstars. And it's like I said, since Tua, and Michael, you said it when Tua was there and Tua was hurt.
Tua got bigger than the program.
Well, guess what? All of these kids think they're bigger than the program now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of college football players now, especially highly ranked ones.
That guy's right.
Okay.
Don't you dare point at me with that finger, Bill.
Don't put that evil on you.
Hey, I watched that movie last night with the boys. Break them in for Halloween.
Does that classify as a film?
Wait, which movie?
Take my strong hand.
That's not a.
I don't know what that is, but I lick it anyway. Look, here's the thing, man.
Yeah, let me stir it.
It is the coach's job to curb egos, but
it is.
I don't think you guys probably don't. You're sorry. Well, I've got like 14 things running through my head. I'm trying to put my thought into words. It's become like the NFL in a lot of ways, but in one way, it's very hard to coach players who are making a ton of money.
Well, did you see the clip from Siski and McCready?
No, I did not.
When Tyler was talking about the way NIL has impacted the game, said you can't hold players accountable now.
No, you can't. You absolutely can't.
Because there's no, it's you go right. Oh, I'm quitting. I'm going in the portal, and you play next year.
Yeah, you also you have to play a game now. You have to keep them happy because they could you piss them off, they bounce.
That's right. And I mean, he had a point. That's what they're battling. They're battling portal. They're battling NIL. So
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these, we talked about this in the preseason. A lot of I say preseason, but right before the season started, a lot of these older coaches are kind of like, nah, man, I'm done, because that's not what college coaching is supposed to be. If you want to do that, why not go in the NFL and make a lot of money
and not have to worry about what they worry about
recruiting and stuff? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, but look, we're going to talk a little bit about Alabama, Tennessee. I don't want to go too far into it, Chris, because that's really what we're going to talk about tomorrow. But I think Alabama's going to be fine.
Buy some cigars.
Don't buy cheap cigars though.
No.
Oh, no. Are you saving it for tomorrow?
Don't buy cheap cigars.
Buy good ones?
Anytime. I'll tell you what, let me back it. Anytime you buy a cigar, don't buy a cheap cigar.
What's your go-to smoke, Chad? If you smoke a cigar after the Alabama-Tennessee game, what do you usually smoke? Tell me what it is. Chris and I have a pretty expansive cigar knowledge, so we'll know if you're bullcrapping. But you guys are talking about a lot of players in the chat who I think will impact this game. Q Robinson. I think the player that's going to really impact this game, if he can finish, is going to be Tim Keenan. That has been one of the most frustrating things I've seen all year. That dude is disruptive as hell, but he can't finish a play. Need him to. Definitely need him to.
Well, I mean, that's like Overton. I mean, look, they're getting in the backfield. They're getting their hands on the quarterback.
Oh,
it's just
not the Fuente.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Lance, look here.
Yeah, that's a good cigar.
Chris, what's your go-to?
If it's a everyday smoke.
Nah, man.
If it was every day.
No, well, I mean,
if it was an everyday, I'd do a Perdomo 20th. But
me too, man.
If it was every day,
actually, no, I take that back. Padron, man, the Padron.
Well, but some of us can't afford those.
I one a year, baby.
One a year. Something like
that's a good smoke.
Something after this game. I mean, you do it. I'd probably do a Padron.
That's not bad. Everybody's smoking those RTRs, man.
Oh yeah. You know what those are, man?
They're Perdomos, right?
They're like the $3 Perdomo sticks.
The yard guard.
I mean, they really are. I mean,
now Kentucky goes and gets Black and Milds if they win. That's all they got.
No.
Moving on. I know what you meant, but it sounded like you meant something else.
Kentucky's got no class, so they smoke Black and Mild. That's what I meant.
We all had to start somewhere, Bill.
Yeah, I've smoked a Black and Mild before.
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Lance said cut his mic.
Chris, let's help Jason out here. He said cut his mic.
Voodoo.
Hold on. I will never advocate for a Swisher or a Black and Mild. Let's just go there.
Is it
just smoke a blunt?
I can't remember. There's
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Me and you's kind of been out of the game for a minute.
Yeah,
but man, it has evolved.
Oh, I'm sure it has. We used to do a show once a week called Blow and Smoke on Facebook, like a decade ago, and that's what we'd do. Is we would smoke cigars and talk about football. We did it on some app that worked as like a two-way radio, and we accidentally hacked into the Pac-12 After Dark.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Channel.
Zello,
Yeah.
Mellow Yellow.
Yeah, Zello. I think it was Zello or something like that. Yeah, that was hilarious. Long time ago.
Y'all hacked into the cameraman at an Oregon game, and we're like,
yeah, sure did, man. They were so
the
pissed
drunk
off
girl,
on us.
103.
They made the mistake of telling us who they were, and we just freaking let them have it.
Yeah.
Do we know who the officiating crew is going to be? Caleb's got a good point here.
No, we'll probably know tomorrow.
Lord help us if it's Jason Autry.
Man, I hope not. That's what.
Miami to get a Cuban. Man, if I want a good Cuban, I go to Uniontown, Alabama.
You ain't lying.
Are y'all talking about sandwiches?
No,
we talking about cigars.
I know. I'm just being funny.
No, we got a buddy right in Uniontown. He's probably got 1,000 of them sitting at his place.
How many of y'all still smoking on Cohibas? Like, I remember when everybody thought Cohiba was it.
I like getting them, the ones in the glass boxes.
The red dots or whatever.
No, the one you get on
the checkers on the band. Yeah, what are those called?
That's Cohiba.
Opus X, baby. Opus, baby, all day.
Eric says you going to the foot wash.
I know about the foot wash here.
Yes, it should have. That still pisses me off today. If that happens again Saturday, I'm going to find out who the referees are, and I will be at there.
Yeah,
that's the Jason Autry crew.
Not going to hurt anybody. Not going to do anything crazy, but we're going to have a conversation.
I feel like we might be getting like a Ken Williams crew. Probably. I think we're definitely going to get a crew that's allegedly generic. We did by getting Texas and Oklahoma in, we had to add some more crews.
I'll put that on us, Byron.
And those, so we've got some new refs in the league. We just don't know. That tells you how crazy we are in the SEC. And we know our referees by name. I had dinner with a high school referee, and we were talking about it, and he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "It's crazy in the South," and he loves high school refereeing. He said it's difficult, but he loves it. And he said, he said, oddly enough, it's the bad stories that stick out. He said, but they're the very, very few encounters that they have when they're refereeing. And I started naming off the refs in the SEC and all that stuff, and who's good and who's this, and all of them are retired. All the ones I like are retired. And I said, I don't know these new guys. And he said, oh, none of us do. But he said the good thing is at that level, there's a lot of training and a lot of film study that they are required to do, and not just encouraged. So that's encouraging.
Can we get Joel Klatt as a ref? You probably don't want that either.
No, I don't think he'd know what to do on the field as a ref.
Did you guys hear about this Backstreet Boy or NSYNC or One Direction guy?
Yeah, everybody's. I have no idea who he is.
I didn't either, but apparently
did he fall off a roof or something?
Fell off a balcony, but like 30 minutes before that, he was like posting on his Snapchat and stuff.
Yeah.
Was he in Panama City for spring break?
Argentina.
Oh, okay.
Even better. That sucks.
Different things happen in Argentina.
Yeah.
I just posted a question, and I want you all to respond. We're not going to highlight responses tonight because we don't want to get too deep into the game. We're going to talk about that tomorrow night on the regular weekly show. This is After Dark, where we just cut up and say stupid stuff. So, but please respond so I can go back and reference your responses and what we talk about tomorrow. So,
yeah.
Hit Nico.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is we're just gonna have to. We gotta get penetration.
Yeah. Both sides of the ball.
No, just one. I don't want a lot of penetration on the offensive side.
Do you like deep penetration?
Yeah, if we're only blitzing 4, yeah.
Are you talking
Four?
about?
Four
Are
at
you
one
talking
time?
about opening night in prison penetration? Or are you talking about
4 at one
something?
time?
Something
What,
else?
Bill?
I prefer
Yeah.
engaging.
I mean, I sound like you're talking about first night in prison.
We're gonna get there, Rick. I know everybody's like recruiting. What's going on? You probably already know.
Everybody already knows.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. New rankings came out for 2025 recruits today, and the University of Alabama is now the number one. Has the number one recruiting class for 2025, unseating the Ohio State Buckeyes. I believe it's Alabama, Ohio State, LSU, Auburn, and then I think maybe Georgia. There's going to be some shuffle. There's going to be some changes as we move on, but Alabama has its eyes set on a couple of big-time guys. Some of those are potential flips, and I think one of them that Alabama stands a really good chance of getting is Ivan Taylor. Taylor is a DB, 4-star DB. He's currently kind of deciding between Alabama and Michigan. I believe he may already be committed to Michigan. But there, to Lance's point, there were some huge jumps today. Keelan Russell is now the number 3 player in the country. I believe he started off at like 110.
Yeah.
5-star recruit. A.K. Deere got his 5th star. Alabama has 5 5-stars committed right now.
Today.
That could change. You know, there's some smoke with all these people going to visit different places.
Is it? How many did you say?
5, I believe.
Yeah, okay. For some reason, I heard 3.
3? Who told you? Oh, no.
I just heard 3. I just look. I'm on cold medicine. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
You and
4,
Dabo are on the damn codeine.
Tomorrow we're going to work on shapes and colors. I'm sorry. I believe so. I haven't had a chance to like really break it down and look into it. I had a clinic earlier tonight, but
I don't think we should break it down and look into it. It's just recruit. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I mean that's not why there's 160 people in here.
Yes.
A lot of you want Justice Terry. I would venture to say that shit might have sailed. I think he is still a strong Georgia lean. It's kind of a two-edged sword because Alabama really needs Georgia to go into Austin.
Unless Kirby Smart leaves and goes to the Jets.
Yeah, there's rumors. There's word out there that could potentially happen. Anquan Fagans is interesting just because he is going to take an Alabama visit for the Missouri game. I think Ivan Taylor will be there for that game. I also think Justice Terry will be there for that game. Right now, what you want to watch is official visits. What's going on with official visits? Because what happens is these schools, when somebody goes on an official visit, they have to go to their high school and they have to get transcripts. What else is it?
Oh, it's a list.
There's a lot involved.
It's a box of stuff
for official visits. So a school isn't going to go through.
I think they have to pull their physical records and
there's a lot.
It's a big deal.
So with Justice going to Texas this weekend, what he's doing is he's visiting Texas and Georgia on one official visit. Is what he's doing.
He knows exactly what he's doing. But who knows? I mean, his last potential visit is going to be at Alabama. In recruiting, you follow the visits. Fagans is probably out, but who knows, man? Alabama doesn't really need them right now. Alabama is sitting if they can hold this class together, which they've already done it through a Vanderbilt loss, right? So, and I'm telling you guys right now, I'm a firm believer. We are at number 1 nationally right now. So somebody just asked, horns down, Ricky Bonnie.
You want me to tell you something that's might be that's possible? I'm going to tell you something that's possible. That someone, maybe not Alabama, but someone could be playing Vanderbilt in Atlanta in December.
It's potential. I
mean,
what is this world coming to?
I'm just saying
but it's potential.
That everybody just overlooks poor little Vandy. And look what happened to Alabama.
Hey, Vandy's not bad this year, man. They're not, dude.
Look, they are
Vanderbilt
2 plays
is
away
in the
from being
middle of
6-0.
the SEC right now. They're in the middle of the, and they should be 6-0. You're right, Bill.
Yeah.
They're in the middle of the SEC. You know who the worst team in the SEC is right now? Mississippi
Auburn.
State. You know who the second worst team in the SEC right now? Auburn. That's not me crapping on either one of those teams. That's statistically true. But anyway, so again, recruiting is going to change a lot. Georgia's going to make a strong push for number one. Alabama's going to make a strong push for number one. Ohio State is going to make a strong push for number one. As long as look, for Alabama, as long as they finish in the top 4, we've been saying this, it's freaking amazing. I want to say something. Chad Simmons, you clickbaiting mother
Scratcher.
Dude, that guy, if I ever see him in person, I'm going to rock his jaw because he knows that Alabama fans are incredibly anxious right now. He knows that the fan base is kind of in this flux where everybody's pissed off about Vandy and how they looked against South Carolina, and they're worried about the recruiting class. So he's preying on that. Luke Metz today. He posted an article about Luke Metz going on these visits. Oh, here's all the schools that are pushing for Luke Metz and blah, blah, blah. Dude, Luke has been very loud about I'm locked in with Alabama. Did the same thing with Caleb Cunningham because he visited LSU, right? Dude, that pisses me off. That pisses me off. Caleb Downs ain't coming back, Lance. He's making a shark ton of money up there in Columbus. He ain't coming back.
He's making Jim McElwain's shark money.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. He's gonna stick up there, and keep in mind, man. He's not having the greatest year, but I will say this: if Alabama gets through Saturday night, if they can really get through these next 3 weeks, 3 games. It's kind of clear sailing outside of, slipping up. If they don't pull a Vandy, it's kind of clear sailing the rest of the season. And so recruiting will take care of itself. All Alabama needs to do is make the playoff.
Yeah.
And they can, even with 2 losses. And so, you got LSU who beat Ole Miss and is doing well. So if Alabama drops Tennessee or Missouri or LSU, but they beat the other 2, and they don't lose again, they'll probably still be in the playoff.
Yeah.
And that's going to do wonders for recruiting.
I'm concerned that Alabama is playing to the level of the competition, which is a historic pattern at every school in the history of college football. And because you're dealing with 17 to 21.
Yeah, very young kids. Yeah.
And I really want to emphasize this is a new coaching staff, some new schemes, some new ideas and new framework, and it just takes time. And they're doing good right now. So just tap the brakes if you're freaking out on Bama. This ain't Nick Saban's operation anymore.
That's right. And that's okay. Before we completely go for recruiting, because that's what everybody watches us to talk about. Yes, Cavante Henry.
Yes.
I believe he's the number 1 JUCO player in the country, edge rusher. Huh?
Yeah, you're right.
Cerritos College in California. He was committed to Mississippi State, and he flipped. The guy I actually watched some highlights on him. It reminds me of somebody, but I'm scared to say it out loud. Should I?
Do it, man. It's way
I
outside.
posted a video on. Actually, if you want to know who it is, and you're not on Twitter, or you are on Twitter, go find my account. You see my username right there. Go find my account, and I posted it, and the caption is, I miss him. And there's a video. And that's who this kid reminds me of, Cavante Henry. Caleb, shh.
Well, I guarantee it ain't Reuben Foster because the way the refs are throwing penalties these days, Reuben Foster would have ended up in prison. They don't. I mean, that Reuben Foster style of football is done.
I see a hot take that I think we need to discuss. You see it? You see it?
Yeah.
Byron. that's not it. Just read the comments there. You'll see what everybody's saying.
Oh, Byron's right. Byron
Nick
ain't wrong.
Saban would have struggled this season, probably.
Yeah, because
Probably.
Nick Saban struggled last season.
He struggled
Yes.
the year before
and
too.
look at the coaching staff he had last year, and it wasn't as good as the coaching staff that's there this year. Look at now some of the players probably would not have jumped in the portal, but they would have had the attitude and the money and the problems that we're seeing elsewhere.
Yeah.
So we would have had baggage. So yeah, I think Saban would have struggled this year. Absolutely. This is a new breed of college football. I'm not as happy with it because
I don't like it.
all right, y'all remember in 16, was it 15 or 16? It was 16 when we got a non-offensive touchdown in every game. That era is done.
Yeah.
Well, this era of football is not
Exactly.
defensive. The defense isn't winning. The
No.
defense is there to maintain. You've got to outscore your opponent.
Yeah. I got a whole video. I did a whole video.
NFL football.
Yeah,
You
I did
sure
a whole
did.
video asking.
We don't care about your video.
Oh. Excuse guys, I'm giving him.
You did put up a video saying that this new era is offense oriented and it's defense negating.
Yes, the game is already set up to put the defense behind the curve, so to speak. The defense is already, it's reactionary 100% already. When you look at penalties in a game, the majority of penalties in a game are going against the defense. Look at roughing the passer. We talked about that brush on the face mask.
Unless Eric Walford is your O-line coach, that's a different stat. But for the past 2 games, Alabama's had like 7 to 10 penalties a game, 0 on the O-line.
There's a reason.
0.
There's a reason that most teams take a shot downfield on 3rd down now, because they stand a really good chance of drawing a flag.
PI.
And so, getting pass interference and getting an automatic first down. I remember there used to be a time where I'm like, why are they doing that? It's 3rd and 2. Why are they throwing down the sideline? Well, that's a lot of people do that now. It's because you stand a really good chance of being gifted.
Speaking of penalties, has anybody talked about Dan Lanning and his genius move the other night?
Oh,
Genius move. We didn't bring it up.
and then the NCAA fixed it today.
Real quick.
They hit the rewind button.
They did, man. They did.
He admitted to it in the press.
Oh yeah, he said it was on purpose. It was body.
He said we practice these situational plays, and what happened is just before the snap. What was it? 3rd and there was how many seconds were on the clock? Like 7 or 11, 7 something.
It was
just before the snap, he sent a 12th man on the field to help defend, because he knew all they would get was a 5-yard.
Mm-hmm.
And it run 4 seconds off the clock. And I think there was maybe 6 or 5 seconds left. And that was it. I mean, their sorry-ass quarterback
slides in midfield.
Yeah. He doesn't even try to scramble or find the open receiver.
He could have thrown it in the bleachers and saved time.
Yeah.
How about Oregon now rolling the Big Ten, man? You come in, it's your inaugural year. They go back to media days where they took that damn duck
and put it in the river.
And then you beat Ohio State. That's good stuff, man.
Beating Ohio State is a beautiful thing in any universe.
I'm here to watch Ohio State lose.
Yeah, and them in Notre Dame and Tennessee and LSU and Auburn too. But
it's going to happen. Prepare yourself. Somebody's going to do it. Probably Tennessee.
That shuttle pass is coming. And let me tell you, folks that are listening, that is a play from the Dan Mullen, Tim Tebow, Aaron Hernandez playbook. It got us in 08. In 09 in the SEC championship, they tried to come back to it. Yeah. Courtney Upshaw stays in the gap and drops Aaron Hernandez at the line of scrimmage. In 08, they got the first down, and
He's
won
lucky
the
he
game
didn't
for
get dropped by Hernandez.
He
but-
could have got shanked by Hernandez, but he got up off of him just with the whistle.
Middle school.
It is, but the sad part is those plays still work.
Shit works.
Yeah, it's a genius play. It ends up being a fourth option on
Oregon ain't that impressive. Here's the thing, man. There are no elite teams in college football.
No, there's really not.
There's not. The talent is too dispersed. So, it doesn't. I'm not intimidated by anybody. You used to watch Ohio State late at night or Oregon late at night and be like, man, I kind of hope we don't play them. There's nobody in the country that I'm like, I hope we don't play them.
Yeah. You know who I hope we don't ever have to play? East Mississippi. It doesn't have to be East Mississippi. I don't want to play a Buddy Stevens coach team.
Buddy Stevens will drag Kalen DeBoer up and down that sideline.
The sad part is they'd have whoever they played so worked up.
Yeah,
they just make mistakes.
That's where Buddy's good, man.
Yeah.
But dude, if Alabama, here's the thing, something else, and I get it. Since that first half of the Georgia game, Alabama hasn't looked good. Like, I'm not saying they have, but because of that first half of the Georgia game, we know how good they can actually be, and that potential's still there. I think the situation right now has to be right because it's a young team. I think they overlooked Vanderbilt and South Carolina. They got beat and then almost got beat because those two games fall right in between Georgia, who this new breed of Alabama athlete, Ryan Williams said it today, they view Georgia as a rivalry, and then Tennessee. And so, in saying that, now that makes me worry about what two games moving forward, Missouri and Oklahoma. Right, because they fall right in the middle, right in between what other two rivalry opponents,
LSU
and Auburn. And so,
and
we have it, Keith.
I'm not really worried about LSU.
So, what is the problem?
LSU is the problem with LSU is going to be at LSU, and it's going to be a night game, and those corn dogs are going to be soaking in moonshine.
Yep.
Whatever from Monday to Saturday night. It just stuff goes weird in LSU. I know we have a great history playing on the road there, but crap goes weird down there.
Yeah.
I will say this, Michael. Cotton, you said nobody's great. Right now, the only quote great team in the AP is Texas. And they're very vulnerable.
I think so too.
They are not 04-05 USC.
I think Georgia's going to go in there and rock them. It's to answer this question. It's execution. It's execution due to youth, and there's you have to realize there's a lot of external and internal factors, variables that dictate the outcome of a college football game. This is why Nick Saban lost to teams he shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
The 18 team should not have lost to Clemson at all.
Yeah. I mean, 2010, they had no business losing to anybody that year.
No, that was the most talented team other than like 13.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have lost to Auburn.
So
I'll say this, keep about what Jay Beck's saying here. It's mainly execution. However, we are not committing to the run game. And when we run the ball, we kick butt. So there's play calling aspect of that. Cole Kublik pointed this out in the Vandy game. In the first half of the Vandy game, Bama ran 4 series where they did run consecutive run plays. So they 2 or more run plays on 4 different series in the first half. It was always positive, and the second run was always better than the first run. Yeah. In the second half, 0 back-to-back run plays.
Nope.
Yeah. First series against South Carolina, I think it was 7 run plays to 3 passes, straight down the field. It looked like a mower running through a grain field, just straight down the field. Score.
Yeah.
Didn't do that again until the beginning of the second half. Did it again and didn't do it again. And this is a good running team. And more to follow tomorrow night. But you know, just pound the damn rock.
Look, we all bitch about it, but I'm gonna say this: we're sitting on the couch and they're getting paid millions. So I mean,
well, you aren't.
Well,
Neither am I.
Yeah,
Cotton's getting paid millions.
I'm not. I promise. I had to swap out my credit card on the
Oh, did you?
StreamYard. Well, it's got on it. It just kept kicking my card back.
He
did it the other day.
He got overdraft protection.
We need to run the ball.
We do. We need to run the ball.
I'll tell you what we need to do more than run the ball is get the hell off the field on third down.
Well, if you're running the ball, you will.
On defense.
But you'll give your defense time to recover.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest problems. When we do score, we score quick.
We do, and we said that. I remember saying it during that Wisconsin game. I was like, that's going to be a problem at some point because you're not giving your defense time to rest. Once there's a quarterback that can actually move the ball out of the pocket and extend some plays, we're gonna run into some problems. You guys have don't forget, this is an incredibly young defense, incredibly young. And Womack, somebody said it in the chat earlier. The coaching staff is learning these players week by week.
That's right.
Is that Jeffrey?
What is that?
That's a Jeffrey.
A Jeffrey.
Oh no, don't like that. There we go. Thank you, Jeff.
There he is.
All right. The producer's in, so we get the screen right now.
Yeah, appreciate you.
What's up, everyone? I've been in the chat all night. I've been listening to the last bit of work and then flying home so I could get up in here. So
look at everybody in their hoodies and sweatshirts. You can tell.
Yeah, man, it's chilly.
It's cold outside.
Yeah, it's a little nipply out there.
Are you in a moving pod, Jeff?
A moving pod? No,
yeah,
it
looks like you got stacks of boxes ready to
warehouse.
Where?
No,
I feel what you're talking about.
I'm just in my house. I don't still have my
screen up. That's where all the toys are.
Oh goodness.
The goodness. Hey Jeff, did you ever order that thing that I sent you the link to?
Oh, no, I have not.
Hey,
but I do.
You know what you can do? You know what you can do with that? You can defend Hoth against the Empire with that.
He's got a Millennium Falcon.
Man, I got a Millennium.
You want to see what kind of toy I got?
No,
let me stand up real quick.
It's does it?
You got a little X-wing action here too.
Sweet. Jeff is literally just wait. Why are they so close? That's why are they?
That's the thing.
Why are they readily assessing?
Because he's running around playing
the whole time Jeff was in the chat earlier, sitting there playing Star Wars on the car.
I mean, I got man. Look, dude, I got Star Wars always at a hand reach away.
I'm with you, bro.
There's never question with that.
He's running around the den, chasing one arm with the other.
I have a.
Who doesn't do that?
He's got his wife flicking the lights on and off.
This is what we got. Just the arms reach away.
Oh,
what's that? Eagle.
That's Eagle Rare. That's amazing.
I don't know. Doesn't do nothing. That looks like soy sauce.
No, sir. That's soy sauce from heaven, my friend.
Straight out of Kentucky.
He said that looks like some soy sauce.
I got this.
Was that Mjolnir?
There's Mjolnir, just in case.
See, Chris is bringing out the hard, good stuff.
And Chris is just hard. Pause. My bad.
I need to, Chris. Can I come hang out with you Saturday and watch the game?
The whole show.
Sure.
No, you're good. It's fine. It's after dark. This is how we roll, man. Everybody's talking about what, and we're trying not to get too deep into the weeds because we don't have anything to talk about tomorrow. Right. But everybody's kind of talking about what's wrong with Alabama right now. And I don't think much. Look, Alabama can be a lot better than they're playing right now. I don't think they're broken. I think they're young. And what everybody has to wrap their heads around, college football is changing very fast. It's not the same game that it was a decade ago.
So I got a question. I got 2 tickets for November 9th. Who's coming and going?
Okay.
What's November 9th?
That's LSU, bro.
Is that LSU?
Yeah. That's down there in the neck
Operator,
No.
on through.
Hey, we're gonna get to sing Nick with the
Hey,
band.
I'll
that
do it.
song.
I'll do it. I'll stand there in my Alabama jersey. Man, that gets me
Hey,
hyped.
I'm not
What you gonna
lie.
tell him?
That song kills in at LSU game. That Colin Baton Rouge song. That,
Yeah,
that,
I'm sure it
that
does.
junk gets
That is
hype.
pretty cool.
I'm not gonna lie, it gets hype when they play that song.
Ooh.
I tell you what got hype. Damn, was that Arkansas that played Rocky Top after they beat
Yeah.
Tennessee?
That was
That
awesome.
Oh, they did.
Beautiful.
Yes, they did.
That was the ultimate troll.
Did they? Oh, didn't they do it like all like sad and crap?
No,
No,
they
it
played Rocky
It
Top.
was
There was
banging, dude. They
somebody
were-
this year
they
that
were
beat
hammering it out.
somebody, and their band played their fight song, but they like played it off key, like in a minor key, and really slow and wonky and out of tune.
That's probably
the key
somebody
of Carl
like
Lewis.
State.
I don't know. It's crazy. But the musical thought process to do that.
Francis
Man.
Scott off key.
Lance is looking for Mizzou tickets.
Francis Scott
South Zone
They
only.
make-
Oh, so she
I'm
wants
looking
some.
for
She
right
wants
now,
some
man. We
food
haven't
and
eaten it.
stuff.
But we will. Keenan looks
You never saw that
long.
clip with Charlie Steiner where he was laughing so hard at Carl
Oh.
Lewis singing the national anthem and he could barely breathe.
Yeah. And he says, "Sorry about that."
Why aren't our
Whoops.
linebackers playing like they did?
That's
in
a great
week
question.
1 and 2?
Our linebackers have
Play calling.
Well, that and we're playing better teams.
Yeah,
Like,
we're not.
But
Yeah,
that's not an excuse for Campbell to get a face mask every game or roughing the passer every game.
Yeah,
It's like,
man, but come on, dude. Like, no, I'm not gonna. God, dude, he's brushing face mask, man. Like, come on, that's
That's the
absolutely
rule.
not
You know, if
I
I'm
don't
not-
care.
The rule is the rule.
It's a dumb rule, man.
But if
You're
I'm not
right. The rules
mistaken,
suck.
wasn't
But the
face
rule-
masking only called several years back if you closed your fingers?
Well,
I don't know.
It changed.
But I posted a
It
freaking
changed.
video from 2 years ago of Bryce Young getting freaking drilled
Yes.
after a play, and they didn't
Mhm.
throw a flag on it, and the media called it clean. Everybody said it was
Yeah, well
clean.
now
Get outta
things
here.
are different now because everybody's a pussy.
Right. I mean, you're absolutely right. But the rule is the rule, and you got to know the
It's
rule.
just what it is. I mean, what do you want me to say? Your
rules
DBs
suck.
won't tackle
It is
because
what it
they're scared they're going to get hurt tackling somebody.
Well, that's my
Yeah.
whole point that I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier. Is the
I
game
told
is
y'all.
set up for the defense to not be successful. The game is moving that way. There's so
Agreed.
many rules in place to protect offensive players. Look at targeting.
100% agree.
Targeting is a great example. If I'm a DB or a linebacker going to tackle a running back and I lower my helmet, I'm going to get tagged or flagged and thrown out of the game.
They got
That
no
running
idea.
back can lower his helmet and run me the hell over,
Yeah,
and he's fine.
but you're
Jalen
not.
Milrow
even
got
if you're-
hit in
you're
the
gonna
chin with
naturally-
that guy's helmet on
Yeah,
that
the
sack.
game-
You're
the game is
naturally
set
going to
up
tuck your
to
neck
help the
to
offense.
make a tackle.
Yeah.
And you're naturally
And you
gonna
know, but the
lower
thing is, I guess if you're going to tuck your neck and don't hit them with the face mask.
Huh?
Yeah.
You know, go ahead and kill yourself. Hit them with the face mask and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, you know, I took one for the team, and we didn't get 15 yards."
You call it sarcastic
Yeah.
ball. I love it.
It is what it is.
It is.
Now Campbell's face mask where he reached around the guy and yanked back. Now that's, I mean, you got to be smarter than
Yeah.
that.
But
That's
when you're
horrible.
cleaning his Oakley windshield, that's
I mean,
not a
grazing the
mask.
face that happens, but you know, when you reach up and grab a guy's mask and yank back, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna call that every time.
Stick it near
Oh, the whole team has it, Eric. It's the whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's just say what it is.
You want me to tell you what it is?
Hasn't looked as good
You
as he did
want me to
the first
just
two weeks.
you want me to just tell you what it is?
Complacency,
Complacency, NIL, and social media.
probably.
Better
And a
teams
fear-
too.
and a fear
Look,
of
when
getting-
you're worried about this is not a knock at Ryan Williams, but when you practice a touchdown dance 60 times on TikTok in a week, watch
Yeah.
damn film. Quit
I'm sure
making
Ryan
TikToks with girls.
You're just jealous.
Not really.
Well,
Not really. Not at all.
I mean, we're moving away on offense from what our strength is. The Wisconsin game was the perfect playbook of
Game
how our
plan at
offense
all.
needs to run. The Vanderbilt playbook against us is exactly the kind of playbook we need to be running with Milrow. We have the best
yeah,
running
I felt
quarterback
like
in
that,
football, and we don't do anything like we've seen done against us with running quarterbacks. He's trying to turn him into Drew Brees, like I said earlier. He stands in the pocket
Yep.
Scanning through reads in the pocket. And if it collapses, he runs backwards, still trying to throw.
Yeah.
The play where he crossed the line of scrimmage and threw it. That's a first down. If you just take off, just go, man. Just take off and run. Like, quit worrying about being the thrower.
He doesn't have awareness, and he cannot read a defense. I'm sorry. People can tell me that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He can't read a defense.
No. Did we run any kind of option deal with him because he's the best running quarterback? No, we don't do anything like that. I'm like,
I don't.
This is 2
I don't
years
think
in a row with 2 different coordinators.
I don't think it's as complicated as Chris is making. I think that Jalen Milroe is getting better at reading defenses.
Okay, well, you know what? He was getting better
right,
from game 1 to the end of the season last year.
Yes, and he's shown progression.
Raj, what's up, Raj?
Here's
it's
the
like
thing.
We started all over this season.
I don't think so. But
we didn't start over. We didn't start over until week 4.
A year ago, all we said was Jalen Milroe needs to improve, and now we're holding him to higher standards.
He has improved. I'll give him that. He has improved.
He has improved.
The players are not there, are not being called to put him in the best place to succeed, to use what his strength is.
That's where I think
Anthony Richardson. If you go back and watch Anthony Richardson at Florida, right? The minute something didn't go right, you could tell by the guy's body language, in his head, all of it. It messed him up here. Jalen Milroe, if he is not trusting his offensive line, his wide receivers, or his play callers, which is why he was terrible last year, because he didn't trust Tommy Reese and that O-line, then he can't play as well as he normally does.
Wofford was the O-line.
He did against Georgia that first half because everybody was playing lights out. And so what did Milroe do? He freaking shined. Everybody's like, okay, he's a quarterback, right? You go into Vandy and the wheels start to fall off. He regresses. Last week, same thing. Last week you can explain away because he played probably one of the best pass rushes he's seen in college. Like,
look at the best games
Chris,
he's
it's okay.
played
I respect what you're saying. And I love
but it's just like
games he's played. I'm sorry, Chris.
It's just like Lance said earlier, we shouldn't get a safety from the 13-yard line.
Well, that's
right.
Definitely.
100%.
I will say this. Milroe's
quit trying to make the big play.
We shouldn't get a penalty on the kickoff.
Milroe is 0-3 in games where he has thrown a forward pass over the line of scrimmage. If Milroe does that, you can almost guarantee Alabama's losing that football game because that's an indicator that Milroe does not trust what's happening on the field. And when he doesn't trust that, it's a psyche issue. It's not a talent issue. It's not a football IQ issue. It is strictly just not trusting what's going on around him and what's going on over him.
Here's what he needs to do. Here's where he needs to speak up.
Milroe needs a new face mask. We hear you, J-Man.
As a
leader, he needs to go to his offensive line and his coaching staff and say, hey, I'm not comfortable. I don't trust him. But you know what? If he's scared to do that, then he's not going to make it in the NFL, no matter how bad anybody wants him to.
Absolutely.
What is Sheridan missing here? Look at his 4 best games the last 2 years: LSU, Tennessee, Georgia in the championship game, Wisconsin this year. First half Georgia, you can give him 4.5. It's his legs are the difference in all those performances. Are his legs. His legs. That is where it stops and starts. Are his legs.
And we don't call enough running plays in sequence to set up using his legs or anybody else's legs. The offensive play calling is so out of rhythm.
It's our biggest weapon. It's the weapon we have. You cannot defend.
I think all of that goes back to not running the ball. Because we're not establishing any kind of dominance.
Okay, well, let's run the damn ball.
I agree.
The ball.
You know what? Here, you know what I think? Ever since Derrick Henry Derrick Henry left, that's all we've said is run the ball.
Well, he was getting like 50 snaps a game, bro.
Yeah, but now all we say is run the ball. Last year we said run the ball.
Well, and we said it when Najee was there in 19
Jalen is
and
not
20.
a pocket passer.
No,
thank you, Jeff.
We keep putting him in positions to where he sits in the pocket and is surveying the field, or is this not his
All
strength?
right, let's be honest.
Standing in
guys.
the pocket.
All right,
They don't
let's
boot him
be
out
honest.
with a bootleg and
Let's
run.
look at this. Let's
Never
look at
do it.
this as a scout for an NFL team. Are you drafting Jalen Milroe as a quarterback?
Not in the first round.
No. Second.
I mean,
Late
I'm not
second
putting him in a
round.
different position, but I'm not taking him in the first round. But I'm not going to move him. I'm not going to change positions.
Earliest, late second round.
He can play quarterback.
And
He's
everybody's
playing
going to hate
offense.
on me. A lot of people's going to hate on me because you're not supporting your team. Yeah, I'm supporting him because that's all we got.
You're a Fairweather fan.
I am a
Yeah,
damn Fairweather
this
fan.
isn't
You
a
know, and
shot at
not
Milroe.
once have I said I don't support him. All I did was stand up for coaching staff.
That's ridiculous.
We're not
man.
like
You
saying
can't
get rid of
just
Milroe.
say
Milroe's the
how you
problem.
feel,
It's
what you're
No, you're not allowed to say
the
how.
scheme he's being put in.
What's even worse, you're not allowed to speak
Lance has a good
facts.
comment here.
No,
Running
yeah.
like he's Earl freaking Campbell.
Yes.
Why can't we run a bootleg where he rolls out to the right and throws on the run? Never does that. You know, he's throwing flat-footed. You know, throwing off his back foot in the pocket if it's collapsing on him.
I will say
his
this:
first instinct isn't
in
to
that
take off.
sloppy loss to South Carolina, everything that happened at the end of that game, there's one play that has kind of gotten, like, I don't know, buried, and it's that touchdown pass to Jeremy Bernard
Beautiful.
that put Alabama back on top in that game. That was a beautiful read, a beautiful job by Jalen Milroe, and that shows you what
It
he's
happened
capable
like
of
that.
He
in the
has
pocket
improved.
when the play call is right and the offensive line is doing what they're supposed to do.
That
Agreed.
happened. If you look at that in real
I
time,
submit to evidence that play.
he read that in a split second.
It's the breakdowns where he still like is going Bryce Young, waiting to get that last throw in, and the breakdowns is where he just needs to go,
Yeah.
just go.
That's one thing that does bother me.
And the good thing is Milroe's bones aren't made out of crystal. He can take a hit.
Yeah. Remember, we used to say, like, sorry, I was reading somebody's comment. We used to say that with Bryce Young, like, they must be telling him not to run.
Yeah, they did.
Like, I kind of wonder if that's the case with Jalen Milroe, because there's a lot of situations. It's like,
Why would you tell him not to run?
I don't know, but it doesn't make any
Hey,
sense.
Ryan
to me
Williams, don't use your hands when he throws you the ball.
Well, I know, but it doesn't make any sense to me that
Just use your
there's
elbows.
one
What are we
game.
doing?
There'll be one game where Milroe's lighting it up through the air and on the ground, and then all of a sudden he just quits running for like
Yes.
3 or 4 weeks.
It's the most
And then
unexplainable thing.
like,
yeah, we got a troll in the chat.
We got a what?
Got a troll in the chat.
Love it.
We're
We don't hate
idiots.
Milroe.
We're idiots. Nobody
Yeah, we
hates
hate
him.
Milroe. That's
Yeah.
Oh.
we-
It's not the issue. Why is there no
That can't
running
be-
game? Because we won't run the ball.
Yeah.
Hey,
can't
that's
the running
Michelle Curtis. That's Michelle
when we
Curtis.
start.
that can't
When,
be a
when
real comment.
Alabama runs the ball,
I don't care if it's
It's
a real
beautiful.
comment or not, but I
we don't
mean,
commit.
Milroe will
Haynes
be
had
the first
6
QB
carries. You
drafted.
can't do anything
yeah,
on 6 carries.
that's a troll comment.
Yeah, y'all let him have it, guys.
He's an all.
You can't do anything off 6 carries in a game. You need more than 6 carries.
Get
Haynes
him-
had
get him,
6
Brayden.
carries.
Yeah.
You know,
We need
both these
Jam
running
and
backs
Justin.
need 10 to
Now,
12
we need Richard
carries a
Young
game.
in
I
the
feel.
field. We need
Yes,
Jam and
Eric,
Justin.
at least one of them.
Absolutely was.
Give one of them 15 carries or whatever. But I mean, these one carry every 3 series isn't enough to find any rhythm in the game to really get into the
2
game.
carries
Yeah.
per series, per possession.
Yes, like let the running backs get a feel, get a rhythm. Let the guys get.
But this
in
is
the-
kind
I
of
mean,
what
it's
you're
like-
saying, Jeff.
When,
What Keith is saying here. Is that correct? That's
Yes,
kind of what-
yes. And I love the dude, but that's not his strength. And that's
Nope.
not hating on the guy. That's my eyeballs tell me.
No, I love Jalen Milroe.
I mean,
I don't want to
yeah,
be
yes.
else but at Alabama. Don't get me wrong. I
If you
I
have balls,
hate-
it's okay to point him out.
we owe that dude our loyalty. I mean,
Yes.
Agreed.
after last
And nobody said they were disloyal to him. It's just,
Yeah.
it's obvious that he's not a pocket passer. He wants to be one.
Michelle doesn't know what
understand.
she's talking about because this is a great O line when it can run ball, and we're not committed to. We'll run, throw 2 passes, and punt.
have
we
you
could-
watched Alabama's O line the last 2 years?
No, Michelle's
And
been
this one
watching.
compared to that?
Michelle's been watching Sam Houston or
Hope
something.
he's watching replays of the 2022 season.
You're
I
watching
don't know
something.
what this
Our line is
Always
remarkably
talking
better this year.
Yeah, they're
Have they
much
given up
better.
some pressures? Sure. Welcome to the league.
Raj,
fine bombs. Yeah, Raj, give it.
man, come on, boy.
I mean,
But no, just run the damn ball. And here's the deal.
Agreed,
This is what I hate hearing. Well, we didn't have enough explosive plays. We didn't have enough explosive plays.
I don't want damn explosive plays.
You know
I want
what?
long
This
snaps.
is a Gus Malzahn excuse. Well, we just needed more explosive plays. You know what gets you explosive plays? Fundamentals. When you run the ball and stop the run, you create explosive
let
plays.
these hogs up front pave the road
Yeah, they're getting paid to do that.
for these running backs.
And Kalen DeBoer has experience. His offensive line at Washington won the Joe Moore.
And
last
they
year,
ran the
like,
ball a
yeah.
lot.
I had a
Like,
good
yeah.
running game.
That
Some of
Dillon
what
guy had
they
like
were dialing
1,500
up with
yards
that
last
offensive
year.
line with these pulls and things like that, it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
That running back.
I would love to see
Didn't
more
need
of
much of
that.
that this
Yeah,
year.
I don't think Richard Young's 100%. I mean, he's playing, but he's not 100%. Chris, cough. It's okay. Everybody's got the crud right now, man. I get it.
No, I've been fighting it for a couple of days.
It's this weather
He
change.
got the monkeypox.
No, I think that's what you get in Argentina.
That's what you get in Cuba.
Am I allowed to say that?
I think you get that on international flights. Next topic.
Possibly. Well,
Oh,
right. They're great.
man.
They struggle
Right.
pass blocking with these fast ends, especially when the quarterback stands there like a statue.
You've only got 2.5 seconds to get rid of the ball. You don't have 6 seconds in the pocket.
No.
That's why when it's 2.5 seconds, your clock in your head and your body clock has got to say, tuck it and
There's
trust
validity
my
to this.
21 miles an
There's a
hour
little
run.
something to
This is a good point. I actually thought
Little
about
something to
this while watching the South
Yeah.
Carolina game. Is what we're seeing a product of not having DeBoer and Grubb together. I actually had that same thought during the South Carolina game, Keith.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Sheridan's still trying to figure out how to be an OC.
Y'all, I'm telling
Yep.
you, in 2 years, this offense is going to look so different, and we're going to be laughing that we ever had these conversations.
The defense is going to look different.
When Keelan
Let's
is
talk
in
about-
there slinging it and running it.
Let's talk about something else, and this is a big what if. Okay?
Next year, it's going to look a lot different.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I want to talk about. Let's say that Alabama holds this recruiting class together, right? They bring in Keelan Russell. Keelan Russell is now the number 3 overall player in the country. They bring him in. Can you bench him and keep him on the bench for a year and play Ty Simpson?
It might become like what Florida's doing with Lagway, where you've got to ease him in. Now Lagway's in now because Mertz is injured.
Yeah, he's out, but I don't know. You know, it's hard to say because you know they're going to – the veteran, the guy that's been there is going to get a little bit more
You got to give
leverage
Ty
coming out
Simpson
of
some,
camp.
yeah.
But based off of what I mean, I think Ty Simpson's a guy, but you're gonna lose 2 quarterbacks when they sign Keelan Russell. You're gonna lose probably Austin Mack and Dylan Lonergan. If you start
Might
Keelan
lose Ty
Russell,
Simpson.
you potentially lose Ty
Here,
Simpson.
you know, I think, and I know that they'll never do it because their pride and the egos are too big with the coaching staff, but I wanted them to put Ty Simpson in the game.
In which game?
Mm-hmm.
Give a in the Vandy game. Give a different look. Do something.
I was screaming at that game. Yeah, put in Ty Simpson because it's a different game plan.
I mean, it's not a popularity contest. They're here for national championships.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
You need to tack on Caleb Odom. The return of Jalen Hale.
Yeah.
That offense is going to be filthy.
Hey, I meant to say this earlier. We're talking about JUCO stuff.
AK Deer.
Steve Mbumumu or whatever, Mabawa.
What? Who?
He's a Canadian guy. Steve,
If you're going to say someone's name, don't murder it.
I don't know how to say it.
Did you
It's
say he's a
lot about-
Canadian guy?
Then don't say it.
He came from Canada.
Change the subject.
Steve Imba.
Change the subject.
Ooh, mow.
Just-
Mow. Anyway, he is killing it at JUCO and looking to. He signed a letter of intent. Was supposed to be in this year's class, but something happened. He had to go to JUCO. So that's a D lineman we're going to be picking up next year.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to say Canadian. I'm sorry. I don't
Yeah,
speak
Case
that
Break. Just say the D lineman from Canada, bro.
I don't know how to speak Canadian. I've never been to Canada.
Oh, that's something else I want to talk about.
That was
Shit,
my
I forgot.
OCD, ADD coming in.
I forgot. That doesn't make sense. What doesn't make sense, Corey?
I guess me wanting Milrow pulled.
Do you want
We'll just not put him in the best position to succeed. I just don't understand why
It's
the one calling the plays doesn't.
Keith, look,
see
yeah,
that.
Hollywood ain't going nowhere.
yeah, they'll keep him, man. He's also building businesses at Alabama.
Yeah.
Golden Flake will throw a bag at him. Too.
They'll pay money to keep him.
I mean,
That guy's-
I think
Mercedes of
he's
Birmingham.
I think he's like the spokesperson for women's sport, like gymnastics and hockey and
basketball. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He's like He's
Fire
the-
Ryan Day. He's like 1-7 in top 10 games.
Ryan Day is so weird.
He's James Franklin. They're no different.
Yeah,
Ryan Days.
he's
If he doesn't,
It's just James
Ryan
Franklin.
Days-
Budget's bigger.
James Franklin looks less confused. Trudeau,
Pretty good.
Canadians.
No, he's not, Rod. He ain't going to.
I've never wanted to visit Canada. I've never wanted it.
I've been to Canada once.
Have you ever been to? Have you ever been to Mexico?
I have.
You boys like Mexico? Sorry.
No, but transfer portal is supposed to take me there at some point.
I've been to
Yeah,
I've been to
Mr.
Mexico,
Portal? Is that
Alabama.
who's We should get him back on the show.
Eric,
y'all
I
ain't
don't
lived
think Ohio
even in
State's going to lose
Mexico,
to Penn State because James Franklin can only win games not named Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah, James. Look, I was convinced James.
Lance
Franklin
is right here too,
would
by the way.
lose.
He is right.
Dupree is.
Literally every play.
Remember
Yeah.
Cuevas?
Did y'all see when Dupree made that catch? He
Cuevas of the
turned
hands
around.
team, Cuevas, you mean?
I thought he was falling out of his chair.
Dupree
That wasn't
was
a
looking for
hand
somebody
thing,
to
man.
hit.
It's like they went and pick. It's like they were like, let's pick the worst people possible.
Where's the
Yeah.
two backup tight ends? Get them up front here.
Dude, yes, I
Yeah.
don't know. That
Let's
was
get
on
the guys-
coaches.
Bring those
That was on
bricks.
coaches.
For
Let's
hands
get
he
the
had,
guys who
yeah.
have 2x4s for hands. Let's get them up front.
Well, Cuevas has good hands. I don't know why he took that off his face, but whatever.
I don't know.
That was a weird kick.
You knew it was happening.
Oh, it was
Too. You
weird.
knew
Weird
it.
kick.
The
was
minute
no
it
doubt.
bounced off of him, I'm like, oh hell.
There was no doubt.
that might be a lesson in how to do onside kick too. It was a good kick.
We don't,
Honestly,
we
haven't
don't
been
really
enough
need
plays
Caleb
for him.
Odom right now. Sorry, Jeff. We don't really need Caleb Odom right now.
No, we don't.
He's
Bernard and Williams are eating.
yeah, and Odom's going to be used
Yeah.
more in the red zone because of his size.
Yeah.
But they're using the tight ends right now. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him later on in the season. J-Bay, yes, K-Law is probable for Saturday. He's probably going to play. So that's good. We need him in the
Yeah.
Can Emmanuel Henderson not return kicks anymore? Can we just not return kicks at all? Can we just wave them
Yeah,
off?
just wave them off.
Let's talk about special teams.
Oh,
Let's
here
talk
we
about
go.
special teams.
Go ahead, Bill.
It sucks
You're-
balls.
Bill's favorite subject,
The
special
floor
teams.
is yours, sir.
It sucks balls. We are better off letting the ball bounce through the end zone than
Not
ever
me.
trying to catch it. It is.
Keep going. Just keep going, Bill. Jeff,
Yeah.
do the thing.
I got you.
We
I'm
are terrible on kickoff return.
Not that thing. There you go.
It's like of the 27 kickoffs that Alabama has fielded, like 8 of them have been decent. The rest of them, we've wasted we've wasted it. We ought to just let it bounce out of the end zone. We screw up. It's like we have a graduate assistant whose first year is, hey, why don't you teach a subject you've never seen before? It is totally weird and unexplainable, and I don't like it. Special
Yeah,
teams sucks.
I don't understand it either. It's like I just why we continue to run the kick out. Just take it to 25-yard line.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's so hard
25.
to me.
It's frustrating, bro.
Yeah,
I don't
our
understand
punter is excellent. Now Michael's saying our punter when he was criticizing everything. But yeah, the punt team is fine. It's the kick return. It's like, do they practice?
They fumble. It can't hang on to the friggin' ball.
We fumble it. We run it to the 10 and kneel.
Yeah, or turn inside and get drilled at the 12. And it's like, just take it at the 25-yard line every freaking
let
kickoff.
that little bounce out of bounds and take the 35.
I've been screaming this for years, ever since Waddle broke his foot on the kick return in 2020. If there was any team ever that didn't need extra field position on a kick return, it was that team.
That was questionable.
So I'm like,
I would not.
no more kick returns. Just take it to 25.
And then when they figure out these guys are going to let it bounce, we don't need Cole Adams on kicks because he's got
Cole
that
Adams was
robotic
the
arm.
one that waved for the fair catch against Vanderbilt and then didn't go catch the ball. So Williams had to reach in the last minute, fumble it. And then instead of picking the ball up, Cole Adams dove on it on the 3-yard line. like that guy needs the answer.
It would be nice not to get a penalty when we're receiving.
The answer is to let the ball hit the end zone and go out of bounds and take it at the 25. That's the answer. Or
we really don't need to take a penalty on the kick return that backs us up to the 12 and then sets us up for a safety.
I mean, this isn't wrong either. Our defensive line has not been a real threat since we've had this DL coach.
He's got so much talent. He's just like, do whatever you want.
Yeah, coach that crap up, bro.
But I mean, we're used to defensive linemen being that dude. And have we had a defensive lineman drafted in the first round since Quinnen Williams 4 years ago?
Nope.
When did Freddie Roach take over the defensive line?
3 years ago.
I mean, do the timelines add up? Like, what's the problem?
I like Freddie.
You should write a strongly worded letter.
Something's missing.
Write an email.
An email.
Yep.
I don't know. I love Freddie, man. He's a Bama dude. He's a great recruiter.
I don't want the ball bouncing off Coke Adams' bionic arm.
Lance, I'm so happy
Coke Adams is a wild dude, man. You only see him come out about 3 a.m.
I'm so happy Lance made that typo because I am now only referring to Cole
Coke Adams.
Coke Adams.
Baby.
But I do not. I like his hands.
A happy accident.
Kicks and
dive on the
punts.
ball at the 3-yard line. Atta boy.
Kicks and punts is going to bounce off that bionic arm and we'll lose.
Does that person not look familiar? I'll do it again and look really close, okay? Jeff, can you make me big when I do it?
Make him big, Jeff, like you do all the other times.
Does that guy not look familiar to you?
And that's not a Photoshop.
Does that
Larry
not look like
Sanders?
Jim McElwain to you?
It's like Larry Sanders.
He swore it wasn't him, but I'm
that
pretty
lateral
sure.
muscle development.
I'm pretty sure that's Big Daddy Mac riding that Mako right there.
I was just trying to hump. It's just gross.
That a lot
The
of
whale
beer.
humpers, it's hard to
That's a new show on National
Hey,
Geographic. Whale humpers.
whale humpers. With Larry Sanders.
Environmental.
All right. Well, guys, since we got a lull, it's 11:30 where I am almost. I'm ready to wrap up.
Yeah, it's almost 2:30 where I'm at. So
It's been real. It's been fun. What are you in Korea?
well, no, we're in Antarctica right now. So
That's in the
Korea.
same time zone, bro.
yeah.
All right. You guys
not I'm
know
on the other side.
please like, subscribe. Thank you for talking with us. Even if we picked on you and you picked on us, that's fine. Thank you for being part of the
Thanks for
engagement.
coming in, Michelle.
Yeah, we love you.
anyway.
Don't listen to these other guys. I love you, Michael.
Come back tomorrow night.
Mainly because we have Sunday. We have a live show tomorrow night. We will be talking, like actually breaking down the upcoming matchup with Tennessee as well as the other matchups that day, making some picks.
Tennessee hate.
I hate
They
Tennessee.
stink. They dirty.
They low down.
You know
they
what?
dirty.
Before we go, guys, outside of the obvious Bama Tennessee game, what game are you looking forward to?
Missouri,
The one
Auburn.
right after it.
The Georgia
Missouri
Texas game.
Auburn.
Well, I
Georgia,
didn't want to
Texas
say
for me.
because everybody's going to say Texas, Georgia.
Yeah,
I was
I
trying
would
to
Right.
think outside the box.
Because
And
that's
it's going to be funny
that's the next
if
game.
Auburn loses again.
South Carolina, Oklahoma.
Oh, that's probably going to be a low
That's
key.
going to be a game.
What? No, it's
Who's
not.
going to be the
South,
quarterback?
watch
Oklahoma. They
South Carolina
with,
blow them out.
Well, they
I'm
might
just saying.
they might pull a
Watch.
South Carolina and crap the bed.
No.
No.
Can you believe
never mind,
Venables just
Vandy.
threw that game by not switching quarterbacks when it was
Yeah.
clear that kid wasn't going to do jack in that against Texas?
Yeah,
He said,
that was
nope.
kind of crazy.
Right there,
Sticking with
Eric.
Eric ain't wrong.
LSU, Arkansas.
That's a
really
sneaky
game.
good game. We'll talk more
Brian
about
Kelly.
it tomorrow night.
Yeah, well,
Sneak his
I
way out of that one,
got
too.
a crazy take on that one.
Me too.
Okay. All right, guys.
Squeaky
Be sure to tune
good.
in for that crazy take. Share us everywhere. Thank you for joining After Dark. It is so far after dark, I'm about to carry my ass to bed. You guys know the drill. Say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll damn
Roll it.
Tide, Paul.
Throw down.
Rolleth.
Wrong
Oh,
video,
psych.
Paul.